Welcome to our countdown of the 10 African revolutionaries who changed the world. In just 10 minutes, we'll explore the lives and legacies of these incredible figures. Now, I know what you're thinking. 10 minutes, Chased, to cover a whole continent's worth of revolutionaries. And you'd be right to be skeptical. We could spend hours, days even, talking about the struggles and triumphs of these individuals. But hey, we're going to give it a go because their stories deserve to be told, even if it's just a taste. So buckle up, because we're about to dive headfirst into the lives of some of the most courageous, audacious, and flat-out amazing people this world has ever seen. First up, we're heading to Burkina Faso, a landlocked nation that was once known as Upper Volta. Under the leadership of Thomas Sankara, it became a beacon of hope. Sankara wasn't your average revolutionary. This guy was like the love child of Che Guevara and a philosophy professor, with a dash of rock star thrown in for good measure. He believed in leading by example, and boy, did he ever.
Sankara sold off the government's fleet of fancy cars, opting for a modest Renault 5 instead. He slashed his own salary, making him the world's poorest president, at least on paper. And get this, he even banned government officials from flying first class. Can you imagine that in this day and age?
Sankara wasn't just about symbolism, though. He implemented radical social and economic reforms, promoting education, healthcare, and women's rights. Despite his untimely death, Sankara's legacy lives on, inspiring generations with his unwavering commitment to social justice and Pan-Africanism. Our next stop takes us south to apartheid-era South Africa, a place where the color of your skin determined your entire life. Amidst the darkness, a light emerged. Stephen Bantu Biko, or Steve Biko, as the world would come to know him. Biko understood that apartheid wasn't just about physical segregation. It was a psychological weapon designed to make black people feel inferior. So he fought back with a weapon of his own, black consciousness.
Biko believed that for true liberation to occur, black people needed to free their minds first. They needed to embrace their blackness, their history, their culture, and reject the white supremacist narrative that told them they were less than.
He formed the Black Consciousness Movement, which quickly gained momentum, uniting students, activists, and everyday people under its banner. The movement provided free medical clinics, legal aid, and educational programs, empowering black communities from within. Biko's message resonated far and wide, shaking the very foundations of apartheid. Biko's death sent shockwaves across the globe, exposing the brutality of apartheid and making him a martyr for the struggle against racial injustice. From the ashes of Biko's death rose a new wave of resistance, and at the forefront of this struggle stood a man who needs no introduction, Nelson Mandela. Mandela's story is one of extraordinary resilience, forgiveness, and an unwavering belief in the power of dialogue. Imprisoned for 27 years by the apartheid regime, Mandela emerged not with bitterness, but with a message of reconciliation and unity.
He understood that true freedom could only be achieved if both the oppressor and the oppressed were willing to confront the past and build a future together.
He led the negotiations with the apartheid government, paving the way for South Africa's first multiracial elections in 1994. The world watched in awe as he cast his vote alongside his former jailers, a testament to the transformative power of forgiveness. Mandela's journey from prisoner to president is a testament to the indomitable spirit of those who dare to fight for justice, even when the odds are stacked against them.
Chapter 4, Patrice Lumumba, The Price of Independence.
The Democratic Republic of Congo, rich in resources but scarred by exploitation. Here, Patrice Lumumba dreamed of a free Congo.
Lumumba, a passionate orator, became the first democratically elected prime minister in 1960, clashing with Belgium and Western interests.
He demanded control over Congo's wealth to uplift his people, but the West saw him as a threat.
The CIA orchestrated a coup leading to Lumumba's assassination, revealing the West's violent grip on Africa's resources.
Chapter 5, Haile Selassie, the Lion of Judah. Our journey takes us next to Ethiopia, a nation that holds the distinction of being the only African country never to be fully colonized. And standing tall at the helm of this proud nation was Emperor Haile Selassie I, a man revered by many as the embodiment of African resistance. Selassie was a complex figure, a modernizing monarch who ruled with an iron fist. He implemented reforms, modernized Ethiopia's infrastructure, and championed Pan-Africanism on the world stage. He was a vocal critic of colonialism and apartheid, using his platform at the League of Nations to denounce Italy's invasion of Ethiopia in 1935. Now, Selassie's reign wasn't without its controversies. He faced criticism for his authoritarian style of governance and his government's suppression of dissent. And despite his flaws, Selassie's legacy as a symbol of African pride and resistance remains firmly intact. Chapter 6. Jomo Kenyatta, the father of Kenya. From Ethiopia, we travel south to Kenya, a nation grappling with the legacy of British colonialism. It's here we meet Jomo Kenyatta, a man who would lead Kenya to independence and become its first president. Kenyatta was a towering figure, both literally and figuratively. He was a scholar, an activist, and a shrewd politician who understood the complexities of navigating the treacherous waters of colonial rule. He was a key figure in the Kenya African National Union, or KANU, which spearheaded the fight for independence. Kenyatta's approach was one of pragmatism. He believed in dialogue and negotiation, but he also understood the need for resistance when necessary. He was imprisoned by the British for 9 years for his alleged role in the Mau Mau uprising, a period that only solidified his image as a symbol of Kenyan resistance. Upon his release, Kenyatta led Kenya to independence in 1963, becoming its first prime minister and later its first president. Despite criticisms, Kenyatta's role as the father of Kenya and his contribution to the Pan-African movement remain undeniable. Chapter 7. Kwame Nkruma, the Osagyefo. Our next destination takes us to West Africa, to the Gold Coast, soon to be renamed Ghana. Leading the charge was Kwame Nkruma, synonymous with Pan-Africanism. Nkruma dreamt of a united Africa, free from colonial rule. He believed Africa's strength lay in its unity. Nkruma formed the Convention People's Party, demanding self-government now. His charisma and message of hope resonated with the people. In 1957, Ghana achieved independence with Nkruma as its first prime minister. He was instrumental in forming the Organization of African Unity. Nkruma's legacy continues to inspire generations of Africans. Chapter 8. Amilkar Cabal, the Weapon of Culture. Our revolutionary journey now takes us to West Africa, to Cape Verde and Guinea-Bissau under Portuguese rule. Here we meet Amilkar Cabal, a revolutionary who understood the power of culture in liberation. An agronomist by training, Cabral knew the land and the injustices of colonial exploitation. He saw how Portugal suppressed their culture, language, and identity. Cabral fought back with ideas, using culture as a weapon. He co-founded PAICC in 1956, launching an armed struggle. Cabral knew true liberation went beyond military victory. They had to reclaim their cultural heritage and self-worth. He established schools, promoted literacy, and revived traditional art forms. Cabral's approach extended beyond the battlefield. He involved women in the struggle, advocating for gender equality. Tragically, Cabral was assassinated in 1973 before independence. Guinea-Bissau gained independence in 1974. Cabral's legacy continues to inspire revolutionaries worldwide. Chapter 9. Samora Michelle, a legacy forged in struggle. From the shores of West Africa, we travel southeast to Mozambique, a nation grappling with the legacy of Portuguese colonialism. It's here we meet Samora Michelle, a man who would lead Mozambique to independence and become its first president. Michelle was a charismatic leader, a skilled military strategist, and a visionary who united a nation divided by colonialism. After years of armed struggle, Mozambique achieved independence in 1975 with Michelle as its first president. Tragically, Michelle's life was cut short in 1986 when his plane crashed under mysterious circumstances. Chapter 10. Julius Nyerere, Mwalimu the teacher. Our final stop takes us to East Africa, to Tanzania, a nation forged from the union of Tanganyika and Zanzibar. It's here we meet Julius Nyerere, affectionately known as Mwalimu the teacher, a man who led Tanzania to independence and became its first president. Nyerere was a philosopher king, a scholar who believed in the power of ideas to transform society. He was a staunch advocate for Pan-Africanism, a socialist who believed in creating a more equitable society. He led Tanganyika to independence in 1961 and became its first prime minister. A year later, he was elected president, a position he held for over 2 decades. Nyerere implemented his vision of Ujamaa, a Swahili word for familyhood, which aimed to create a socialist society based on self-reliance and communal living. He nationalized industries, promoted collective farming, and emphasized education and healthcare for all. Nyerere's vision extended beyond Tanzania's borders. He was a vocal critic of apartheid in South Africa and a staunch supporter of liberation movements across southern Africa. Despite criticisms, Nyerere's legacy as a Pan-Africanist, a visionary leader, and a champion of social justice continues to resonate in Tanzania and beyond. Outro: the revolution continues. These revolutionaries not only changed their own countries, but also left a lasting impact on the world. Their legacies continue to inspire new generations in the fight for justice and equality. They remind us that true revolution requires more than just toppling statues or changing flags. It demands a fundamental shift in power dynamics, a dismantling of oppressive systems, and a commitment to building a more just and equitable world for all. So, the next time you hear someone say, Africa needs a revolution, remember these 10 individuals. Remember their courage, their sacrifice, and their unwavering belief in the power of the human spirit to overcome seemingly insurmountable odds. Thank you for watching.